This is an automatic control announcement. Please leave classrooms, halls, and locker rooms. All school exits shall be electronically shut within 15 minutes.
What's up, rotters, and welcome back to the podcast that takes a deep dive into the best and worst horror films of the 80s and 90s. I'm Stevie, your VHS veteran. I hope you're all doing horrendously. So, last November, I decided to ask Brad Hanson and Alex Ayling to team up for an episode of Season 3 of Brain Rot, where we discussed Lucio Fulci's House by the Cemetery. The episode attracted a lot of feedback from listeners using words like chaotic, hot mess, hilariously demented, and instant classic. And so, with this newfound chemistry between the three of us, we reunited on Patreon. And every month since, we've got together to tackle a Fulci movie. Beginning with the Gates of Hell trilogy, which is where we penned our collective name, The Mates of Hell. Ha ha ha, it's a play on words. Ha ha. And each month, we rotate who picks the Fulci film, consistently with zero logic or rationale behind the choice. And my goodness, have we had fun. Other than the Gates of Hell trilogy, we've delicately dissected the strong feminist undertones emanating from the New York Ripper, and completely understood and appreciated the narrative clarity of the Black Cat. And so today, against all advice, I'm bringing them back to public ears to discuss Fulci's lesser-known 80s dance horror, Murder Rock. Originally, it was to be the first in a dance trilogy, and honestly, I am gutted we didn't get that trilogy. The movie is available to rent and buy on Amazon for a couple of coins. If you don't unsubscribe after this episode, and you decide you want more dangerously glib behaviour from the three of us, then you can catch up on all of the Mates of Hell episodes by heading to steviesbrainrot.com and clicking the Patreon link. And as I said, we will be gathering once a month to hit up a new Fulci film. Right then, oh gosh, time to unbolt the cellar door. Well, look who it is. It isn't the Mates of Hell. You've hit the big time again. You've come back to the main feed.
Oh, I can't believe we got invited back, honestly.
Yeah, of course. Hello, Brad.
Hi, yes, we've been relegated normally to the doldrums of Patreon, so it's wonderful to be back.
How dare you?
Slums. The slums.
How dare you?
It's great to be back on that main feed along the heavyweights of Robert Englund and
yes, exactly.
whoever else we have lined up.
You're just 2 episodes after Robert Englund. How amazing is that? And I think, on Patreon also, we've created our brand, haven't we?
Yes.
Because this, today, Murder Rock, the famous the famous Lucio Fulci film. Yeah, it's up there. This is going to be our 6th Fulci film now?
No.
Because we did The Gates of Hell in a weird order. We did Cemetery by the Lake. No. What is it? It was so long ago. House by the Cemetery, City of the Living Dead, The Beyond,
Yeah.
New York Ripper, The Black Cat, and now Murder Rock.
Yes.
It is 6. Wow. And
The
they're
joy
so
of 6.
different and varied and so comprehensible. I'm really getting my head around it now.
How are we though? First of all, hello Alex, how are you? And have you seen Murder Rock before?
So I'm fine, apart from I if I sound a bit weird, it's because I literally bit through my tongue last night when I was eating. My teeth went all the way through my tongue and out the other side.
No, they can't have gone all the way through, Alex. Could you put a stud through it?
Probably.
What were you eating?
It was on the side. just a chicken tikka masala. It was nothing exciting.
Ooh.
Just bit down too hard. I was too excited about food.
Dear. Right, and you haven't.
But otherwise,
seen
yes, I'm good. Thank you. And no, I have not seen Murder Rock before, and I feel like I inflicted it on all of us.
Yes, this was your choice because we tend to rotate, and I think at the end, whose choice is it next? Is it Brad or mine?
It'll be me again.
All right. Okay. Oh God. And Brad, how are you? And yes, you hadn't seen Murder Rock before. This is the first time for all of us, right?
Yes, I mean, it is what we would describe as a lower tier Fulci, certainly sort of on the tailspin down in decline in his quality of his films.
And his health.
Yes. So but it was one that had evaded me. I hadn't made the effort to go and see. And, yesterday I strapped on the leotard. I had the leg warmers on. I was ready.
Strap it on, I don't think.
You slip it on, surely.
I think you step into it.
No, it'll pop straight off. If I slip it on, it'll pop straight back off. It's better to gaffer tape it down.
I loved seeing the 80s aerobics aesthetic in this, especially the leg warmers. Like, what? Why was that a thing?
I'm gonna start wearing leg warmers to the shower. Like, it feels like a vibe. Only leg warmers. Like,
to the shower, not in it.
Not in it. No,
from
but just
the bed to the shower.
Yeah, but you know when you're like naked, but your calves are a little bit cold. The rest of you is fine. You just some leg warmers to get into the shower would be great.
That sounds like bad circulation.
I mean,
that's your
much older than both of you, so that's probably the reason.
Oh dear, you just need some of those like pressure tights to really get the blood moving.
Have you got DVT? Is that your problem?
Yeah.
Sitting in this flipping chair doing Mates of Hell every month.
Oh yeah.
Come on. So this was a whopping great blind spot in our Fulci curriculum, and now we've all watched it for the first time. So, I mean, I mentioned to Brad before we started recording, Fulci doesn't seem shy about referencing the 80s dance movies of the era, such as Fame in 1980 and Flashdance in 1983/84.
Did you pick up on those references, did you?
Just a little bit. And Chorus Line, of course. So he intended after this to make a music trilogy. And it would have included 2 more films, obviously, because trilogy.
That's generally how trilogies go.
Yes. One called Killer Samba and one called Thrilling Blues, but because of his declining health, it didn't happen. But originally this
it was like rock, samba and blues is like ticking off the different genres.
Yes.
Oh,
yes, that's what the rock is.
He should have put more rock in this film then.
Well, I mean, the title, I pictured a real sort of folk horror, like it's a sort of rock that everyone sort of bows down. Yes, that sort of thing. But yeah. But it was originally actually just a straight-up giallo, but Augusto Caminito, the producer, went, hey, Flashdance is doing well, but in an Italian accent. Probably in an Italian language, actually, not accent. Yeah. And he was like, so they went back and then they filmed and they put all the dance in. So I can't really imagine what it was without the dance.
Well, about like half an hour shorter, probably.
Well, yeah, I guess so. And
but I don't get it. No, surely that must have been at script stage though, because it's set in a dance studio, Stevie.
Yeah, that's why I'm. Hey, don't speak to Augusto, not me.
Who knows? So the music was actually made by a guy called Keith Emerson, famously of Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Yes,
the famous prog rock band. So when choosing a disco anthem, when choosing disco anthems, the best thing to do is pick a man notorious for difficult time signatures, and where
maybe that's why everyone was having trouble with counting. That was
do not
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh my god! Because obviously with the dance sequences, the music we're hearing that is non-diegetic because they put it over the top, but they've kept the voiceover of the fucking instructor going. So the music's going dum 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 dum, and she's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And my foot was sickling. Yes.
Sickling?
Yes, that's like bad form in dance.
Oh my god, we wouldn't know those sort of things because we very rarely tread the boards down.
Yeah, and I don't know about prog rock, so that's why we're all here.
This is what we've all come for.
Yes, exactly.
And you're here for one thing specifically, Alex, and that is
Well, let's have
synopsis. Give it to us.
Oh, Bradley, you're getting good at these segues.
Very good.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Murder-Rock Dancing Death. Lucio Fulci's triumphant return to New York City. There's not much murder, even less rock, hardly any death, but a fuck ton of dancing. It's 1984, and reports of the death of disco have been greatly exaggerated, or rather, disco is long dead, and there is a new dance craze in town that's part aerobics, part breakdancing, and part extreme yoga. The action this time around is set within the confines of a grubby little dance studio that is somehow the crucible for the next generation of great dancing talent. Someone is offing the best students before a big audition where there can only be 3 successful candidates. The murderer employs an unbeatable combination of slow chloroform application and a strategically placed hat pin to the heart. Entered via a boob, naturally. And the suspect list is as long as it is incomprehensible. Is it? The former leader of the dance course, who was ousted from her job, presumably because she can't count on the beat, although she does still seem to be doing most of the teaching.
Yes.
Or is it the new leader of the dance course, who also can't count to a beat, but whose main skill, since a historic traffic accident, seems to be vigorous breast moisturising? Or is it her philandering partner, who seems to be abusing his position of power at the college to sleep with the students, #acceptable in the 80s? Or is it one of the sweaty students lower in the pecking order who can take advantage of the poor lighting you get during the dystopian 15-minute electronic lockdown of the dance studio every night? Or is it a literal dick? Or a literal willy?
Oh, yes.
Is it a creepy, proto-emo, scarf-wearing, synth-bothering younger brother? Or is it a man from a billboard? Typically, there's a useless police force that, despite tampering with evidence, ignoring witnesses and arriving far too late to ever be useful, still manage to catch someone they can pin the crime on so they can go back to their hobby of reversing transparencies in a projector. As with any Fulci, don't expect to finish the film any the wiser to what actually happened or why anybody was motivated to do anything they did, but do expect to never be able to get the banging tune out of your head. And remember, you've got to grit your teeth and dance, even when your friend dies. Forget what's right or human, because there is no human.
Only dance.
Oh my God, guys, this film is wild, and we've watched a lot of Fulci. And as I was watching it, I couldn't believe what was happening. And all I kept thinking is, oh my God, thank God this is a Mates of Hell episode. As a film, there are moments of competence. Like, there are some cool mirror shots. Some of the lighting is very, very good. And some camera work I thought was pretty nifty. As a film, no. As a Mates of Hell film, fuck yes, right?
Yeah, hard agree.
Yeah, this one ticks a lot of the boxes.
Yes.
Unfortunately, like Grisly Murders is not one of those boxes.
No.
I was sad. There's no eyeball trauma. Lucio, what happened?
Yeah, no, I was a bit sad about that. The first time we see the hat pin slowly puncturing a breast and then into the heart, I thought that was pretty gross and gnarly. But then it kind of pulled its punch from then on, and it kept repeating it, but we didn't see it anymore. We just kind of had to go, oh, that thing that happened is happening again.
And there was weirdly like deaths off screen, which we've never had before, or like deaths like in silhouette, or whatever. And I don't know, was it a budget thing? Did they spend all the money on that disco at the beginning? I don't know.
The silhouette one though in the apartment. I think that whole apartment sequence is really good. I think it works really well. That's where you get all the cool camera shots and lots of. Wherever you are, the lights go on and off in every building in this city in New York. I mean, we'll talk about the high-tech school. I mean, again, filmically fucking awesome. Realistically, baffling. Like an electronic lockdown with a countdown and lights that are constantly going off and on like a warning.
Just when you're trying to have a shower. It just seems unsafe.
All the staff have left because the building will lock itself.
We're in the future, man. We're in the future.
So in other locations, it was released in the US not until 1990, and it was released as The Demon is Loose. In Brazil, it was released as New York Violent City, which I like.
True.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
It's just a comment, really, isn't it? In parts of Europe, it was known as Slashdance, so they're really not shying away from the fact that they are referencing.
Good. I quite like it, I have to say.
Yeah. In Mexico, it was At the Pace of Death. In Greece,
what is the pace of death?
Well,
0
1,
beats per
2,
minute.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
on the offbeat. Greece, it was Murders in a Rock Rhythm, which is quite poetic, quite nice. In Russia, it was Rock Killer. And if you don't know the film, that could be a bit confusing. In Mexico, I've done that. And then my favourite, so it was released twice in Greece. First of all, as Murders in a Rock Rhythm. Nice. And then it was re-released as Midnight Pervert. I don't think Murders in a Rock Rhythm was bringing the correct audience in. So
they were like, right, let's make this abundantly clear.
Yes.
This pervert operates in the hours midnight and 1 p.m., 1 a.m.
Yes, just within that hour.
Yeah.
There are plenty of perverts in the film, but like...
It's not really a midnight pervert, is it? What an opening. What an opening. I'm going to say the breakdancing in the weird, empty, but lit up club, fine. And then the arts centre, this full chorus line dance routine.
Yeah.
Kind of smacked. What did you guys think?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. I was just to blame, no, it's plain to say.
I was thinking like, it's giving me Climax vibes. I was like, this is like the proper precursor to Climax, you know? That full-on dance routine at the beginning.
The thing is, like, dance horror has become, you know, in the last, because of films like the Suspiria remake, has become kind of this new iconography in horror. And it's interesting to see this film never mentioned when talking about dance horror. And when this couldn't be a more pure form of dance horror than this. I think the great sort of establishing shots of New York City are really beautifully lensed, surprisingly.
Yes.
I was like, okay, this one looks like it's not filmed on a potato, so that's good. That's a good start. And as you say, the two dance routines to begin with, you're like, okay, right. It's been 5 minutes now.
Yes, it goes on.
Can we get to... And I've got to say, a lot of the dance routines, a lot of the filming of the dance routines, very crotch-centric.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I thought at one point I was going to be able to see up.
Right. Lunch.
Yes.
The powers in the hips. I'm sure it was the hip-centric,
It's
right?
all about the hips, yeah.
Yes.
But that is very chorus line as well, because that whole opening is the same as chorus line. 5, 6, 7, 8, da 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 da.
But what is the first disco all about? Can I just say as well with
The
that disco?
breakdancers.
Yeah, the breakdancers. So
That's just
the
establishing New York,
That's
I
just
think.
credits, baby.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that is the cleanest disco I have ever. It looked new. I've never seen, like, considering the rest of New York is how grubby it is in the 80s and how much, there's always like grimy and the apartment blocks and everything like that. That disco is pristine at the beginning.
I think also the fact that it's only those 5 breakdancers in there, it suggests that it's not open and they have just made their way in there, turned the lights on, and they're having a good old break.
A boogie.
And practicing the wheel pose. There's lots of yoga, I noticed, as well.
Yes, some
very strong
contortion.
core work, yeah.
Yes, yeah, very good. So let's talk about Dick. So Dick,
Already?
yes, is the manager of the dance school. He has a sort of operations room where every inch of the school is monitored by camera, and he has one of those, big baddie sort of rooms where there's TV screens everywhere and everyone has got a camera on them in the school. And the new Broadway show that everyone wants to be in has moved up 2 weeks, so it's going to open 2 weeks earlier than planned, and only 3 of the students are going to get to be in it. It seems like he has that choice, though, of who it's going to be.
Well, there is a committee. There are other gentlemen, all lecherous old men looking.
Well, true.
It's very shady. There's there's a shadowy cabal.
It's like a precursor to Slither, the old Sharon Stone movie from the 90s.
I thought that with all the TVs,
Yeah, because, I was
Slither.
about to Slither.
Wait.
Slither.
Yes.
Slither.
With a V.
Yes,
We're all doing hand Vs.
Yes.
Not James Gunn's Slither.
No, I was going to say, yeah.
Not that.
That's a precursor. Yeah, okay, so load of creepy, lecherous guys. Fantastic. Now, this
But you're right.
first...
Like, what is his job? Like, does he work
Just
for
to
the? Does he
watch.
work for the show as well? But like, is he running the audition, or is he going to select? Like, is he doing the selection? And he runs the school.
not
That seems like a
established.
conflict of interest.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, even more so because it turns out he's been fucking them all as well.
Yes.
Well, that's even more of a conflict of interest.
I think that's number one.
But was he paying them as well? I couldn't understand if it was transactional or not. I thought they were doing it on the side to get a bit of extra
Well-
money. You know when Jill goes off and is it Jill who goes off and does her solo dance routine?
Flash dance with
Flash
an
dance
actual...
with
with
the
rain.
leaky roof.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, also when the first two girls die, one of the male students basically suggests, well, you know, to afford to come to the dance school, they had to get on the game. They were also sex workers. So I think
mean-
every student is also selling their body to make ends meet.
I don't find that surprising. The overheads for that place must be mad. Like, think about
Yes, the electricity
bill.
alone.
the electronics, like maintaining that computer that's going to like tell people to do the lockdown every day.
That malevolent
It's an expensive
AI.
school.
Yes, it's the voice. Because we get that now, isn't it? Because we've got the two students canoodling in the sort of locker area, and then this is when it's introduced. It goes, these lights go down, up, and the whole building. Classroom 3, you must finish. Building lockdown with automatic electric doors in 10 minutes. What are you talking about? I think it's really effective. Like, it's great, but what? And that's the
I don't
only
care.
tech. Like, if
I'm
you're going
into
to
it.
show it's a high-tech school,
Yeah,
maybe
that's
show
true.
other things.
I want to fancy a shower.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Light beams. So what did you think of this first death, Bradley, where we get the slow chloroform and the slow hairpin, or hat pin, should I say?
I think it reminded me slightly of New York Ripper because of the way that the kind of her body is very obviously overtly sexualized in this kill. Because it looked like the slow chloroform, and it looked like that you just had fairy liquid
Yes.
on a sponge. Knocks her out, and I thought, okay, here we go. Time to get your eyes done. And then obviously the little hat pin and the very precise, just under the boob,
Yeah.
slow insertion. I was thinking that's kind of it. Like, it's quite effective for how bloodless it is, because it's a nasty. Like, it's very deliberate.
It takes
not
its
like
time, doesn't it?
It's not like a manic sort of slash and stab and cut where there's a recklessness. It seems very
It's more audition than it is psycho.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's surgical, it's precise, and it's laboured, and it affected me. I thought it was fucking horrid to watch, actually, because we're used to all the slashing and the throat cutting, but there was something really unsettling about it, and it worked for me. And I just wish that was a sign of where we're starting and where we're gonna go. But unfortunately, with all the deaths, it hooks you in, and then
it's downhill from here.
yeah,
Could we talk about how no one gets chloroformed in movies anymore, do they?
no, they just get. I
just
think
feel
you
like
just
it's
get
gone out of
pop
fashion.
something in their drink.
No, that's it. Roofies have taken
Yeah,
over.
roofies. Yeah.
Oh, they didn't make them like they used to.
I was quite surprised to see when the body is found and the police and they put her on the gurney that the students are all there and they just wheel a dead body past all the students.
Seems
With a
unnecessary.
squeaky wheel.
It did,
Yeah.
with the squeaky wheel. Always got to have the squeaky wheel. And then so we meet properly Candice. So what do we
Yeah.
think of her? She's our lead female. Yeah, Alex, what were your thoughts on her?
She is. I mean, listen, Lucio Fulci. He's not known for his sensitive appraisal of mental health, problems that people might be having. But she is not having a great time, is she? Let's be honest. She's struggling in life, and who can blame her? She's got a lot of pressure. She's got a shitty boyfriend. She's got she's got things to do. She's got boobs to moisturize. She's got a lot going on. She's got to get on with it. But yeah, I feel sorry. I sort of felt sorry at the beginning. I sort of felt sorry for her. She felt like the only one who actually cared about the dancing.
Yeah. And Brad, do you think, obviously because we do spoilers on this podcast, so obviously knowing what we find out at the end, do you think it's signposted at all?
As the film would allow you to believe, it's very contingent on a scene with the wheelchair-bound redhead,
yes,
sort of pointing them in the right direction. Is it no? Because the thing is, there's so many false flags. I'm writing notes like, oh, it's Greta from Demons. It's her.
Yes.
And then it's not her. And then it's like, oh, it's this person. And I'm like, yeah, I believe that as well. It's probably Dick or Willie or whoever. Or Bart, or whatever. It's about 8 people throughout the film.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's signposted, no.
No, because, I mean, even Greta, she does attempt murder, and it's like, well, she is a bad guy as well, guys. You can't just go, oh, it's not her, she's No, she needs to be arrested.
She tried to do something illegal.
Yes.
But she was just bad at it. She had a crisis of confidence or conscience or one of those,
Yeah.
One of those C's.
Wow. But we see immediately, because she gets the phone call to say that the student's been killed, and I immediately thought it was Candice, because on the phone, he says, oh, she's been found dead, she's died somehow, and she says, oh no, Susie. Yeah, she goes, oh no, it's Susie. She's been murdered. And I was like, he didn't use that word on the phone. No. Why are you saying she's been murdered? And so I immediately thought, well, there you go. It's going to be her. But of course, then I thought, oh, he's done the double bluff, because now it's everyone else. Every scene we meet someone. Basically, in this film, the amount of people who they should be people of interest. A lot of them. A lot of the boys and most of the girls
are a bit.
Everyone's a wrong one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the dance class, it's straight away later that day, I think, there's a dance class. And I was thinking, literally, wow, so they're just going to carry on. They don't care that she's dead. And then this guy, Willie, is stood there and he goes, hey, are you just going to carry on? you don't care that she's dead? And I was like, thank you. I was really happy that he put that in there.
Finally, Willie's talking some sense.
Yes.
The Willie and Dick thing can't be an accident, right?
Surely not. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, if we just needed a fanny just to finish the trilogy.
And we get then a nice little riff or a paraphrase of the famous speech from Fame, where in the famous speech from Fame, she goes, Fame costs, and right here's where you start paying. And Candice shouts at them all and says, success doesn't come easy. You gotta pay for it, even if your friend dies.
You gotta pay with anger, frustration, and sacrifice. I wrote it down. It was too great.
Yes.
Forget what's right or human, because there is no human, because there's no time for crying in here, because you can't stop.
You can't stop, yes.
That's it. That's the end.
We get a classic Fulci useless detective, right, Alex?
Oh, 100%. He's from the Fulci school of useless pricks. Whatever. It's like a middle-aged man going through life, living his privilege, tampering with evidence, not listening to witnesses, barely get I don't know. I would have things to say on his end-of-year appraisal. Let's just put it that way.
And they're always ashen. They always seem to have a grey sort of makeup base that he's put on them for some reason.
Yeah, and I couldn't figure out who his hapless sidekick was. Is he also a police officer? Is he a professor?
He's a doctor.
Of what?
I'll tell you. He is. He's a psychotherapy, police profiler, and psychotherapy professor, Dr. Davis.
Right.
Oh,
Dr. Davis.
But the thing is, I'm sure he is always in the control room at the dance studio as well, before the murder. I'm sure he was there. So that's where I'm confused about who does he work for? What would he call his office?
Well, do you think it could be as simple as we need this many bodies in shot? For the blocking, we need a body here. Could you go and sit?
We need someone to stand in front of the boom operator. Please, can you?
This is a simple 1-2. We need you to, and then hopefully no one will notice. But unfortunately, the VHS veteran himself, Stevie Webb, has noticed. And
yes.
And now I think perhaps you're giving more credence than you perhaps.
How dare you take apart the entire premise of this beating?
Is the whole, the lockdown of the school, the automatic lockdown, is that purely so that the detective can say, well, it must be someone in the school because of the lockdown? Because I'm trying to think if there's another good reason why.
Well, I mean, the other good reason is like because the lights flashing on and off merge really nicely into the lights
good for murdering.
But also good for murdering, but then also good for a good transition between that and then the morning after the murder with the forensic flashes going off as well.
Yes, we get that a few
transition,
times.
to be fair.
It was nice. No, there's no reason. No.
Okay. Good. Then we get the scene where Janice has had her... Good. She's had her flash dance moment, and we follow her home. And now this is the scene that I thought was really good.
Yeah. But also, let's just pause to say well done to whoever engineered that leotard that she was wearing, because it was doing a lot of work. It was pulling in a lot of directions at a lot of different times in that flash dance
because she strapped it on.
Strapped it on. Gaffer takes it on. She didn't. That's why her bum keeps falling out the back of it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was the look as well, wasn't it? Literally the full high cheek out.
Yeah,
just a little cut out.
But this section, I thought it was really good and really effective. When she gets in, she sees the cigarette, and then for some reason, Willie isn't there to harm her, but he's hiding in the shadows and standing by the door.
Put the willies up her.
Right?
But is he there?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Is he actually
no,
there, or did he go away?
Actually there. No, he's definitely actually there.
Right.
What, you think Janice is mental too? Mental is not a nice word, excuse me. Has health problems brainily.
That's on the
much better. Saved it. So,
is she brainily fucked as well?
Is she brainily ill?
We're not protected by the Patreon wall. We've got to be more careful than usual. This one's going out.
Open access.
This one could get us cancelled. No, it's just because later that there's the dream sequence, and I'm like, oh well, all bets are off. Anything could be a dream at this point. So
no, but the dream sequence is by the person who is confirmed brainily ill later.
Okay, good. Brain.
We're leading with that one, are we?
Yeah, it's there now. It's just stuck in my brain. Yeah, and also the whole bit with the bird Dee Dee, and I think it's just really nicely structured. Wouldn't you say, Brad? This whole bit.
There's that mirror shot where it's Robert Zemeckis kind of stole in Contact, but we'll move on from that anyway.
This film, it's the Rosetta Stone, right?
Yes.
Who knew?
Who knew? Yeah. This is the genesis for all contemporary filmmaking. It's in Murder Rock.
We found it.
No colon. Dancing
Midnight
down.
Pervert.
Midnight Pervert. New York City's violent place. But yeah, this is almost like Hitchcockian in its execution. And
almost.
It was certainly a part where I was like, this bit isn't terrible. So it's good.
Yeah.
The lighting guy is having a lovely day at work as well.
Oh yeah, exactly. All the lighting's fantastic. Everywhere just flashes on and off as well. Yeah. Very well done. Now, guys, so let's call that Act 1.
Okay. Oh yeah, because we're about to take a sharp turn left at this point.
Yes, we are. So let's put a hat pin in that. Okay. So now we're gonna call this Act 2. So this is we start Act 2 with a dream sequence of a very specific man that Candice wakes up and has had this dream of this man chasing her with the exact hat pin that has been killing these girls. Did we normally do this at the end? But I'm going to do it now.
What's going on?
What's going on? Yes. What's your take? So, Brad, I'm going to come to you first about the dream sequence / Billboard Man saga.
Right. So they're in like an underpass, right? And he keeps walking behind her, holding up his bits and pieces, his little hat pin and everything. So the motivation is, why is Fulci showing us this?
Yes.
Okay, right. Because that's the big question. Because what we later find out is obviously Candice is the killer.
Yes.
So why are we being shown that for any other reason other than to misdirect us? That's the only logical reason for showing this sequence and the subsequent bit that comes a bit later on.
The motorbike stuff as well.
Well, that as well. That helps later because then we
I
understand.
suppose so.
We understand.
Sort of.
You like retrofittedly.
Tenuous, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, I like the aesthetic of it. It's an interesting and dreamy shot. It's really cool. I really liked it. Reminded me of Irreversible a little bit.
Yeah, it's in a sort of art gallery type
subway
place.
Underground scene. It felt like, but absolute bollocks in terms of why we're seeing it. That doesn't make any sense other than Fulci is just trying to throw us off the scent because he's probably done too good a job at pointing the finger at her.
Yeah. And just before I come to you, Alex, just for anyone who hasn't seen it. So she has a dream of this man that we've not met before, and he has the very hat pin and he's chasing her. When she wakes up, she sees said man in various ad campaigns and giant billboards across New York. One for whiskey, one for cigarettes. And he's got a monopoly on 18 rated products in New York. And later on we find out she has an affair with him because she tracks him down and breaks into his house. Anyway, Alex, thoughts on this whole middle saga?
The whole middle saga? Well,
yeah.
So it was giving me like Bonnie Tyler music video shot in a UK student union vibes. It's always like the concrete staircase up the middle, and like it was
the
giving
Montfort
me
University.
It was that kind of ex-poly kind of like, it's a modern building, but it was modern.
It was modern in the 70s.
Yeah. So I think he's showing us this because then the thing that neither of you have mentioned is that in the future of the film, she's going to try and pin it. She's going to try and pin it on this guy. She's going to try and frame him. And so I can't work out whether her motivation is to do all of these things deliberately to frame him to get revenge for the fact that he ran her over with his motorbike.
Different person, though.
What is?
Isn't George a different person?
To what?
To the
To
billboard
who?
man.
No, it's actually him.
No, George is the billboard man.
Oh, right.
No, this is why it's so mental.
He's the actor.
Or in the coincidence that she dreams about the guy who once knocked her over on his motorbike, dreams about him, and then sees him on billboards everywhere. He happens to be a model actor, and then they have an affair, and then she believes he's killing everyone because she's brainily ill. And also,
I'm gonna blow this thing wide open.
His fortune is, you are a murderer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The $2
Can't explain that bit.
Yeah.
Can't explain that bit. But the rest of it, I would say she has repressed trauma of being run over by the motorbike. And she,
Yes.
like, in her mind, she will have seen the guy. Because, like, it was the 80s. People weren't wearing helmets, right? So let's say she probably saw his face, but it was a hit and run. So he went away. It was a very traumatic experience for her. So she's repressed that memory. Coincidence, that guy happens to be a model, and then the fact that his face is everywhere, it's starting to wake it up in her brain. She's dreaming about it, which is bringing it to the foreground of her consciousness, and then she's got to the point, because she's brainily, what are we saying? Brainily ill.
Poorly.
Because she's brainily suboptimal. She is... None of us are getting out of this one.
You're all coming with me.
She's I think, concocted a scheme by which she can she can get her revenge on him by framing him for these murders, and she gets her ultimate revenge at the very end.
So you think it is all she's completely conscious doing
these
murders?
I don't know that she's completely. I think she is. I think she has the intent to frame him, but I don't think she's consciously. I don't know. I think she's like driven. But
then why would she open the drawer and see the chloroform and hat pin?
She put that there.
Yes, but why the act of freaking out if no one's there to watch but us?
You're an actor. She's probably creating like sense memory, right? She wants to create.
She's not going to make him believe he's done it.
No, but she needs to go and tell she needs to go and tell the police officer that she found it there, and so she wants to be able to access that she found when she was there
I'm not sure about
opening the drawer.
I think that's a stretch. No,
I don't think you're giving the team of this film has had at least 2 drafts of the script, and I think that's more than most of these films get. And so,
okay, right, okay, well this is why I ask. So that's your reading. Sure. I do think, in classic Fulci style, you're a crazy hysterical woman. You don't know what you're doing, and yeah. She's just been killing and not really remembering.
Perhaps.
Because her heart was broken, so she's piercing the hearts of dancers.
Yes, because we also find out that she's killing them in order of talent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which becomes very important, sort of. But not really.
Well,
does it? How? How is that important?
Well, it's just so that we kind of know who's going to be next, and it makes a new suspect each time, because whoever's next on the pecking order, well, it was probably, if you don't die, then you're the one who's been killing them.
Oh my god, it's Final Destination.
Yes.
It's Final Destination. This is it's the Rosetta Stone. Who knew?
Yeah. Who knew?
It's incredible that she tracks him down, though, from dreaming about him, seeing him on a billboard, and the next thing you know, she is at his location, breaking into his apartment, and then immediately strikes up an affair with him.
Yeah, because she says, "You think we're all sluts," and he goes, "Well, ain't ya?"
No, we're not, and I'm going to prove it to you by sleeping with you immediately.
I love the way men just talk about people. It's in Fulci films is incredible. Like when the detective has just been interviewing some of the girls at the school. He walks away with the professor and he goes, "A school of sons of bitches." Why? They gave you everything you wanted.
She's a bit, to be fair, she's a bit more subtle about it, right? Like because she breaks into his house and he's not there. And then he comes in and he's like, ugh, he's all drunk. Like, because not only does he advertise the 18 plus products, he's a very strong consumer of them as well. Yeah. It's the circular economy. It's going round and round.
You pay me to promote them and then I want to drink them.
Yes. Yeah. He's probably got a lifetime supply.
Yeah. But then she leaves her bag behind with her passport in it, which she just happened to have with her. Like this is deliberate, right?
I suppose so.
So then they meet up and she's like, "Oh, do you want to get some coffee?"
But the thing is, he doesn't track her down. That's what confused me. I thought, oh, she's left her bag and he's going to find her. And then when we see them together, we find out she actually called him to say, "I've left my bag." So
Remember that wonderful interaction we had? I also left my bag behind. Would you mind?
Right.
He's already gone through it and taken all the cash.
Well, you say it's weird about the passport, but as someone who doesn't drive, if I need to prove my identification, the passport is the only thing I can use.
Yeah. That's why I'm looking forward to this hopefully digital IDing that they're starting to introduce now. So you can have it on your phone and you don't have to carry your bloody passport around.
That would be handy. And then if they can install these digital lockdown AIs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Close the Lego building.
We see a shot of the killer making a call to the police, and we can see it's someone dark-skinned. So are we saying at this point, this moment is Goretta, and she's planning her kill?
No.
Okay.
This is Bart.
What? Who's Bart? I don't know who Bart is.
Wait, where is it? I found this.
I feel like we've all watched completely different films.
It could be. This is from the Wikipedia. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Borges records a phone call to the police station from a person claiming to be the killer. When a voice analyst identifies it as Bart, one of the dancers. He arrests him. Bart confesses to the phone calls, as well as killing Susan because she was crazy, and Janice because she was Hispanic. Then we get the the casual
then
racism.
There's some problematic casual racism. Yeah, sure.
And then, but then at the end of it, the detective's just like, he's not the killer, he's a liar.
Yes. Well, he doesn't say he's a liar. He says, and I quote...
Oh, it's amazing.
Yes. He's not a killer. He's an artist. It's like a disease. He's a born liar. That's what we are.
He's an artist.
That's what you are.
He's an artist. He'd sit on his mother's head for a laugh.
Yes, that is on his mother's head. That whole section is fucking mental. Because they bring him in, and the detective slaps him 5 times across the face, backhand and forehand, front hand, whatever you call it. Backhand, front hand. And then he goes, oh, okay, you win, I did it. And he says he was racially motivated, but he didn't do it. What is this section?
He's not a psycho, he's an asshole.
He's an artist.
He's an artist.
Well,
he's a dancer.
I don't quite like that, though. Actors are born liars, because that's what we do as a profession. I wasn't too happy with that. But Candice is sleeping.
When they came for me, this is your line, is it? It's crossed.
Yes, this is the line that is crossed.
I said no. When they came for me, I said nothing.
We also find that George. Sorry. Oh God.
This is why it gets confusing.
I'm done. I'm closing my laptop. George. This is who ran over Candice years ago and is also a billboard model. We find out he's also sleeping with the students at this very specific dance school.
Yes.
Not currently, formally, when she was 14.
Yeah,
well, yes, sorry,
he slept. Virgin.
Yeah, the virgin. He was sleeping with a minor / virgin. That's how we refer to them. Yes, and Dick is watching. She died in his bed.
It's pretty sus, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, why is he still allowed near? Why is he allowed
Shut the whole thing down.
Everything.
Shut the whole thing down until we find the killer. Like, everybody stop what you're doing. Like, we're not going out now. This is it. Draw a line.
Yeah, and the fortune teller says, "You are a murderer."
Well, that can be taken multiple ways.
She meant it in the figurative sense.
Murder on the dance floor?
It's not cryptic at all. Like, you have bad energy or something like that, or you have a dark side.
Past or
yes,
whatever.
Yes.
No.
Is this like with
someone?
You are an active murderer.
You know, there's the tarot card death, and every time it comes out, they're like, "Oh, it doesn't actually mean death. It just means an end." And it's like, no,
but
this one is like
you hit 2 sticks together.
Yeah, it's gonna tell you. It's gonna tell the truth.
Murderer.
Then they try and wrongfoot us because Candice gets chloroformed, and it's Goretta, and she can't go through with the murder because she's jealous of her. And as I said earlier, still needs to be looked at.
Still an attempted murder. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't. That's not water under the bridge. Like.
No. There need to be consequences.
100%. Then we get the section with the kid in the wheelchair user, and the other dancer. Tell me about this section, Brad.
Now this is the girl from the Beyond, isn't it? The girl from the painter. The girl from the painting in the Beyond. So
is it the same character?
I doubt it, because this one's got red hair, and I think that's all he would need to distinguish that these are 2 different people. So she is wheelchair bound.
Yeah.
Not happy about it. So she makes her dance, like forces her to dance. It's like, oh, you're gonna make me feel bad. You think you're gonna make me feel bad if you dance? Dance, monkey, dance. So she's like, listen, right, I think we need a bit of a break from each other because you are winding me up. So the only way to get away from you is to go downstairs because I know you can't follow me.
It's so rough.
I think I was zoned out at this part. This was like a whole section of the movie that I don't remember. Maybe my brain was like, no,
we're in Act 3 now. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
So she's literally like doing like a dance for me, baby, dance you whore, sort of thing. To this really unrhythmic song, like it's a really difficult song to dance to if you were going to try and dance to it. So she kind of half-assed it. Then she's like, right, fuck this. We need a break from each other because you're winding me up. So she goes downstairs, answers the door. Oh, it's you. That classic setup. Meanwhile, Redhead's now on the balustrade.
Balustrade.
Do you mean the landing?
Yeah, but like, the balustrade, like she's like peering through.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
And
She's not on it.
She's not on it because that would be dangerous. Although,
especially for a wheelchair user, I think that would be quite.
How'd she get up there? It's a miracle.
Ladies, I hope you're enjoying the final ever episode of Brain Rot, everybody.
We're going for everyone today. Anyway, so she snaps a picture of the killer killing in motion. Killing in motion and we get a snap of that and like we're like, cool, that's going to be useful later on. But you obviously now will be the time that you ask Alex what he thought, but he doesn't seem to remember what this
I don't
any
remember
of this
whole
at all.
section.
Right.
It's only really important.
I'm noping out.
It's only really important because of the photo the child takes, which is incredible when they do retrieve the camera and the slides from the camera. Because the pictures she's
got
taken...
developed into transparencies.
Yes,
So
exactly
they've taken them to the Photoshop. They've
got
got
the
them
negative.
in. They've left it like 48 hours probably. Got the negatives. Yeah, printed them onto, put them onto slides.
Yes,
not printed as pictures. Put them onto slides.
Yes, and
Not
then
quick,
used. Yeah, no, it's not quick. And amazing pictures she's taken on that camera. You know, the proper incredible nature shot of the bug, and then the pictures she took of herself as a 3-year-old child.
How long is this
Holiday
film?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that get in there?
I think she's just unearthed the camera. Like, I thought we lost that 10 years ago. But then, dun dun, we get the picture of the leather jacket the killer was wearing. And this is where they write off Dick and say, he's not the killer because he always wears suits. because he can't...
You can't possibly own another item of clothing.
No, I've only ever seen him in a suit. Because the killer would only wear what they wear day to day, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's off the hook because of the leather jacket.
It's a watertight alibi.
Isn't it?
Watertight.
And he doesn't even know he's given the alibi just by wearing his day-to-day suit. But of course the detective goes, hang on. And he flips the... Go on, Alex.
Galaxy brain. It's galaxy brain. What if it was buttoned the other way?
It's a dirty woman.
It's a woman.
It is.
The buttons go the other way.
Yeah.
Why?
And then...
Can we just quickly get into a conversation of why that is factually true? Like, why?
I used to know the answer to this.
Brad, we're not on QI.
Anymore. I think it was so that you can be fastening with your apron with your left hand and then frying with your right.
Oh, right. So the patriarchy invented it.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
No, I just made that up, but it's probably.
Aren't you looking for a new
job?
job soon? Like you're sort of going to be limiting your options here.
No, you know I'm joking. I'm saying it's probably something literally like that,
Right.
a patriarchal thing.
You can catch Stevie up from September on GB News.
I bet, I'm sure it is. If I remember correctly, it is something completely misogynist and ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, that is not my opinion. Yes. Then Gloria gets her breast pinned, and we get suddenly
Gloria.
introduced to Shaky Bob randomly, this new limping boy. So
who
not
is
the
this limping-
suspect.
But he's the younger brother, right? He was the guy at the back doing the running the desk during the dance routine.
Yes. The full sort of like mixing desk for a classroom. Yeah.
Just need to press play, I think.
Yeah.
It's the way it works, but
But the final sort of push now, and Candice finds... This is where I got very confused. So Candice finds the chloroform. You're saying, Alex, that she puts on an act that she's been scared by it, but you think she's planted it. She actually literally has, because very confusing. But she pegs it, tells the detective, and then, that's where we hear that the miner died in his bed. God. Again, no one is off scot-free in this. This is not okay.
this is where she makes her biggest slip up.
Oh, go on.
This is the part where she like reveals herself to be the killer, where she she says like, "Oh, I saw a hat pin, just like the one he stuck into that canary." And if you remember, that was the evidence that they just hid, even though they took a lovely photo of it, but then just hid it away. They took the hat pin out, didn't tell anyone about it. So the only person who could know about that would be the killer.
Right. Yeah. But also Goretta knows, because she says, I wanted to kill her the way the guy killed the others, and she's using a hat pin.
No, but that's not the hat pin. The hat pin in the bird.
They didn't know. Yeah,
she says how he killed that canary. That's the only. That's the big giveaway. But the lieutenant doesn't notice at this point. Like he's been given the keys to the kingdom, and he just doesn't make the connection.
Right. Okay. And then she gets locked in the manager's room full of TV screens, right?
Yeah.
And so has she set this up herself to freak herself out, because it's just videos of the people who have died? Explain that away, Alex.
No, so she's doing it to work herself up into a frenzy to then commit suicide when George gets there to frame him as for the final murder, because then it can't be pinned on her because all the evidence will point to him, and they can't question her because she's dead.
I mean, I like that, but it just sounds
because he gets framed and he gets done for it at the end.
Well, he did shag a miner to death in his bed, so I don't mind him getting put away. Yeah. And he did. He did fucking crash into someone and ruin their career. He's got a lot on his record. Yeah.
He's getting his comeuppance. Everyone gets their just desserts, you know.
And the cops come in going, we knew it was her.
But you gotta go.
They sort of amble in slowly as well. They're like, oh, looks like we got here a bit too late. You know, get a wriggle on. Have a little sense of urgency.
Right. And the reason he knew wasn't because of the hat pin. He says, oh, no, I knew ages ago because of the leather jacket.
And then his sidekick is like, sounds like obsessive compulsive neurosis.
Yeah.
Brought on by...
And then the lieutenant's like, cool it,
frustration.
Professor. We don't want your science here.
Yes. Yeah, he says frustration drove her to it.
Oh, it does happen to the best of us.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go on a killing spree if you make me watch any more Fulci films.
Well, it's happening.
Frustration of...
So, Brad, is your takeaway then? Because now that Alex has said all that, I'm kind of like, okay, maybe it was all completely compos mentis and premeditated. What do you think?
I think fair play to Fulci. At least this ends with no real ambiguity, other than character motivations later, like that we'd seen previously. Why you would show them to us? That there's some ambiguity there, but in terms of normally, we have the what's happening section. It's quite clear in this one that she's been the orchestrator. She wants to, screw George over and make him the fall guy for it because of her dance career being ruined, because of the envy she felt towards the young women. I think that's as concise so far of any of the Fulcis we've seen so far. Mm-hmm. That is the most concise finale. It just undermines things we saw previously, because we're like, why did we see this then? Why did she freak out at the draw?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is what you get when you have 7 people with a writer's credit. You know, you just get a lot of... You get a lot of effort and energy. Yeah.
I'm just still amazed that the dance was shoehorned in at a later date. It's incredible.
And they filmed a lot, and they put it in at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. You know.
Yeah. Yes.
I will say, like, it's a lovely change of. Yeah, it's a lovely change of speed from just like a slow zoom on a necrotic hand that we normally get. You know.
The end. So to finish off today, I'm going to ask
there's a quote. There's a quote at the end of the film. So, often crime is a distorted form of human endeavour. John Huston, The Asphalt Jungle.
Yeah.
Makes you think, doesn't it? Doesn't it
make you think? It does.
And then it goes, others in the cast.
Others, yes. Others.
Who did you play in Murder Rock?
Not also
Murder
starring...
Rock.
No. Others.
I played one of the others.
I'm going to ask you your rankings for the 6 films we have done so far.
Fuck, I have not thought about this.
No, I know, that's why I'm putting you on the spot. So, Alex, no, I'll go first then. God. So that you've got time to think. I'm going to go at number 1, I can't remember what I did last time, but I think it's City of the Living Dead. Then The Beyond. Then New York Ripper. Then House by the Cemetery. Then Murder Rock. And then The Black Cat.
I would be the same, except The Beyond would be first. New York Ripper would be second. City of the Living Dead third. House by the Cemetery fourth. Murder Rock fifth. Black Cat sixth.
All right. So not the same at all.
Not the same at all, actually.
Mine would be the same, except
it would be the same
Completely
film.
different. I'm gonna go City of the Living Dead number 1, Beyond number 2, New York Ripper, breaking into the Gates of Hell trilogy, then House by the Cemetery, then Murder. I quite enjoyed Murder Rock. No, I think House by the Cemetery is better. Murder Rock and then Black Cat. It's an episode of Midsomer Murders for me.
Yes, that was an interesting one. Fantastic. Thank you, guys. And Brad, on Patreon, we'll be continuing next month, obviously. Do you have your choice for Fulci film yet? I reckon I know what it is.
Don't torture a duckling.
What did I say? Don't torture a duckling. I know that's right.
Don't talk to a duckling. Never talk to a duckling.
Talk to it.
Dorkling. Don't titcher a dorkling or something. I can't remember. Oh, I thought you were going to say Manhattan Baby, but I'm very excited about Don't Touch Her a Dork. Touch Her a Dorkling, I did it!
Don't touch her a dorkling.
I did it
touch her.
naturally!
Don't touch
That's the
her.
kind of organic
Darling.
chemistry you can come to expect on the Mates of Hell.
Don't touch her a dorkling!
Don't touch her, you dorkling.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. That should be a nice palate cleanser because if I remember correctly, that is a
Actually
proper
good.
film.
Yeah, it's a proper good film, yeah.
That doesn't seem like the kind of thing we should be
Doesn't
talking
sound-
about then,
that doesn't
frankly.
sound fun.
I'm trying to get us back on track. The last two have been an absolute catastrophe.
All right, well, I can't wait for that. Thank you, guys. And I'll let you go. Strap on your leotards.
I thought Brain Rot was great while it lasted. Congratulations for making it this far before.
Rest in
you know,
peace.
and, like,
No shame in ducking out at 4 and 3.
yeah, well done.
Oh, just under the 100 episode mark as well. Nearly made it.
Oh, what a pity.
Well, listen, it's been nice knowing you guys.
Yeah.
And see you in Mexico.
Okay, bye.
Bye. There we go. You still with us? If so, congratulations on your endurance. I really appreciate it. Right, now, Brad and Alex, get back to the cave, and I will see you next month on Patreon. Next week, we are re-entering the 90s, my friends, as we skip over part 2, as it's not widely available, and land on Extro 3, Watch the Skies, from 1995. It's currently streaming on Arrow Player, and it's also available to rent on VOD. Until then, my little rotters, Toodles!